Ollie Trey, a man that bought shows for the ABC network, came to the Hanna-Barbera building located at 3400 Cahuenga Boulevard just to say hello. Joseph Barbera letting Ollie have his office that day to make the call. And while Mr. Barbera was there with Ollie, he saw this drawing that him and Willie Hanna had done. One drawing's just standing sideways in color, and it said Top Cat in the bottom. And Joseph Barbera went to Ollie Trey and said,
"Here's a terrific character." And he just looked at it and says, "Yeah, looks good." He said, "We'll buy it." That's the end of it. Sell a primetime show with one drawing.
Yeah, it looks good. We'll buy it.
And that's just how a primetime show with one drawing was created. Joe Barbera and William Hanna having to develop all the characters and storyboard it to have the show ready to air. And on September 27, 1961, the first episode of Top Cat was aired on the ABC network titled, Hawaii, Here We Come. Top Cat, in short, is about the main character named Top Cat in his Alley Cat games trying to make a quick buck. Officer Dibble's always trying to stop their plans. And by the end of the episodes, Top Cat and his gangs are usually back from where they started. Now, Top Cat and his gangs were inspired by the East Side Kids, characters from a series of popular 1940s movies, and the characters from the late 1950s military comedy show, The Phil Silver Show. Arnold Stang, the voice of Top Cat, characterized his voice based on Mr. Silver, who was the lead character Sergeant Bilko, a crafty con man in the black and white 1950s sitcom. Kind of like Top Cat. Top Cat was a success in the US, but was even a bigger hit in Mexico, Chile, Peru, and Argentina, in Spanish being called Don Gato Y Su Pandilla, which translates to Mr. Cat and his gang. Some of the popularity of the show coming from the dubbing and translation from it. And once hearing the show in Spanish, yeah, I gotta agree, it's actually pretty good. Benny, who was renamed Benito Pipodoque, which, by the way, pretty good name, has a childlike voice rather than his adult voice in the English version. And it's pretty adorable. The voice and the design makes Benito feel more like a kid that Top Cat just decided to take under his wing and show him the ropes of being an alley cat, rather than a grown man that Top Cat just has to deal with in the English version. It makes Benito's mistakes look more innocent and fits his actions pretty well. And the voice of Carlitos Matuta, known as Officer Dibbles, is also pretty good. His voice sounds much sterner and stricter than the one in the English version, making him sound much tougher, making it feel all the much better when he gets outsmarted by Don Gato.
¿Por qué no nos encerramos mejor, capitán, en tu casa, Matute? Oh, jamás, jamás, jamás. No podemos aceptar tal cosa, señor. Gracias por su generosa y noble oferta, pero eso es mucho, mucho. Es algo que no podemos aceptar, de veras. ¿Eh? Oye, don Gato, escúchame bien. ¿Quieres proponer algo, Matute? Yo creo, señor, que el sargento Matute iba a sugerir que nos fuéramos a vivir a su casa en tanto encontramos una nosotros. Caramba, esa es una de las mejores ofertas que jamás había oído, Matute.
I gotta say, the dub is pretty cool and the jokes are pretty funny. Some of the wordplay only working in Spanish, of course, which got a laugh out of me.
Lo que hay es un bebé.
¿Un bebé?
Se equivocaron de canasta.
Benito está bromeando.
Bebé, bebé, bien, si es un bebé.
So overall, it's pretty funny. But if I'm being completely honest here, both versions are really good, and it's really all up to preference on which one you want to watch. I'm not gonna say one is better than the other because they both have something that makes them different and entertaining in their own rights. Benny's voice being pretty funny in English when you see him as a friend to Top Cat that always messes up, kind of like Barney from the Flintstones.
Hey, TC, this is your last chance.
Look, Benny, can't you see I'm busy freezing? What are you doing out in weather like this anyway? And what's my last chance?
Your last chance to buy a frozen fudgesicle.
Sorry, try me next summer. Frozen fudgesicles? What are you, some kind of a nut or something?
That's just it, TC.
And I like Top Cat's original voice that sounded like a smooth-talking con artist.
No moving part,
Completely anti-electronic.
and something in this small box can keep you cool.
Caution, use only as directed. Overindulgence may become habit-forming and lead to frostbite.
So I do see something good in both versions, and I say you give both of them a try to see which one you prefer better. I so happen to like them both, so if that's your cup of tea, I say give it a try as well. Either way, Top Cat was really popular in Latin American countries that two movies were made. The first movie, called Don Gato Y Su Pandilla, having its animation done in Adobe Flash with 3D backgrounds and props. And the second one, Don Gato Seño de la Pandilla, or Top Cat Begins as is known in English, being done in complete CG. And after watching both of them, I gotta say, if you gotta watch one over the other, watch the first one. The first one, I gotta say, has a really cool art style, By having 2D animation and 3D background, it provides a good contrast that makes the characters pop, kind of reminding me of Paper Mario. A really interesting style that I hope more films try to do and perfect. I say perfect because some of the CG is done pretty bad in this film. One of the problems being the small CG objects, which don't look fully rendered and they look like a floating image, rather than something that the characters in the movies can really interact with. The 3D works good for the background since that's not where the action's happening, but it's kind of an eyesore when they're close up to the characters and feel like just something plopped there rather than something that belongs to the world they inhabit. But besides that, the movie's really good to look at. And the jokes in this movie are pretty solid. There's some pretty good visuals and pretty clever writing here that got a good laugh out of me.
Amigo Panza, Demóstenes, todos están aquí, don Gato, menos un tal Benito.
Tú eres Benito.
¿No? ¡Ay, sí es cierto!
Cucho, apaga eso.
And hey, if you like Top Cat, you'll like this film. It feels like a Top Cat episode with the get-rich-quick schemes and Don Gato and his gangs working together towards a goal. All in all, a good movie for Top Cat fans and people that may not know him too well. But the second movie. First off, the characters look okay for Top Cat and the gang. I mean, they look a bit too smooth, unlike the thick outlines that border the characters from the original show. Which, it's a 3D model, so I'm pretty sure it wouldn't really make sense to have outlines. But now the characters just look too soft, and the colors are way brighter, which is especially noticeable in strong lighting. Not fitting too well with the ragged characters of the original cartoon. But overall, passable. Something that I got used to. But the humans, oh man, the humans. They look like something from a kid's cartoon like Handy Mandy or the Garfield Show. Look, Top Cat is a cartoon about alley cats living in the city, trying to make a quick buck. So try and make the characters look like they live in New York rather than Fantasy Niceville. I'm not saying give us a dark version of New York, just a more realer one. Something that feels a bit more authentic, rather than this. But going past the character design itself, the movie is kind of boring. There's just a large gap of nothingness where nothing of interest happens. Also, the jokes are just too far apart to consider this a funny movie. Let alone an entertaining one given how little to no action happens. It's just overall a boring and bland movie, and the only thing of interest is Top Cat cussing.
I'm saying that when you get to be lieutenant, you can park your car in front of a fire hydrant, like the lieutenant is down on 48th Street and 7th Avenue, and you can tell a rookie cop not to do his sworn duty too.
He wouldn't do that. Not in my precinct.
Wanna
I say skip the second Top Cat movie, and just watch the first one. It's a pretty decent movie with good jokes and visuals, and if you're a fan of Top, less Cat, then I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy this movie too.